Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 107 of the 40K Badcast. My name is seldomly heard from, but still around, co-host Sick Dan, and I am joined, as always, by he's just around the corner. That's right, it's Crappy New Year.
Oh, Crappy New Year! Awesome. There it is.
Hey,
had to work with that cork a second.
I'm not drinking tonight during our show because oh man. So remember, Campbell, how last time I was sick, we did not record and we skipped a week?
Yeah, and that was like 2 weeks ago.
And then we had skipped the previous week because I wanted to go to Texas and then have that to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this game two times in a row, and I want to get a fucking episode in before the year ends here, because, as we'll talk about later, this is actually 2 days removed from our 5-year anniversary of the first recording of the 40K Badcast, all the way back on December 27th of 2016.
Yeah, it's been a fucking trip, and we're going to be talking a lot about basically what's changed, not just like over the past 5 years, but also we're going to look back not quite as far into 2021's sort of happenings, happenstances, fortunes and misfortunes, and so on as we go further into the show.
Right, but listeners, please bear with me. I am sick. I will probably not be able to do too many funny voices, and I probably don't sound all that great, to be honest. And I took some fucking decongestant. So this might get weird.
Okay, because I was about to say, I'm looking forward to Campbell and Mouth Sounds Campbell meeting their friend Hacking Phlegm Dan. I
don't have a cough yet.
Okay,
I'm sure I will at some point with this thing. Yeah. Okay. So I got sick from Texas, right? I got a chest cold. All right, and a chest cold. This one's different. All right, this is a sinus cold, a head cold. I got this because over Christmas, I went up to Pennsylvania to see my wife's family. All right.
Okay.
Which was fine. Mm-hmm. But a friend of hers lives up there and invited us over to see their new baby. Now, I have a vested interest in new babies because I'm going to be having one in about 7 weeks.
Correct. Yeah, that's coming up fast.
Yeah, I know. Time's pretty much fucking flying over here. Anyways, I went over there, and it turns out her husband had a fucking cold, or probably still has a fucking cold. But nobody told us this. Nobody told us this. If one of them would have said, you know what, this guy's feeling sick, let that influence your decision, I would have been like, hey, Danielle, no, we're not doing this. I took a COVID test. Just in case, because now it's just you get sick, you take a fucking COVID test. It was negative.
Yeah. Good.
So I don't have the Rona. Where is it? Fuck you, Baltimore.
real delayed gratification on that particular fuck you, Baltimore.
I forgot to set up my switcher for the sound banks, so I had.
Okay.
I had to, what I still have.
I'm sorry. When was that? Is that one of the default ones?
No, that's one from my day job.
Okay, cool. I'm not going crazy.
We do one show a year where I get to use sound effects, and it has to be the turkey sound effect because it's the Thanksgiving show, and it's still on here for whatever reason.
Fantastic. Well, hey, you're either 1 month late or 11 months early.
Yeah. Anyways. If you have an illness, dear listener, and it doesn't have to be a serious illness, it can be a minor illness. Let people know before they come over and spend time with you. Or if they do, maybe throw a mask on, even if it's your own house. I was just over at my dad's tonight, all right?
Yeah.
Because we were exchanging gifts because we were up in Pennsylvania and he's down in Virginia and we didn't see each other on Christmas, blah, blah, blah. I wore a mask the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to spread this shit around. I haven't played tonsil hockey with my wife in a couple days now because I ain't trying to pass this shit on to her.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's the thing that people kind of need to understand.
Campbell,
is like, it's not just COVID that masks are good for.
The thing I want to do most in life is fucking swap spit. All right, fucking necking. All right, making out. Fucking French kissing. Getting to first. Is that first base?
It's first base. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like advanced first base, but it's first base.
Oh man. One of these days, you and I, we gotta really, maybe we'll do this for a bonus episode down the line, is like actually map out what every single possible function to happen off of a pitch in baseball is in relationship terms.
Okay, cool.
That would be a lot of fun for me. It would probably be torture for you, but I'd really enjoy it.
No, it would be, I'd be playing a strictly defensive game.
No, I'll tell you, what we'll do is I'll get you a list of every possible thing that could happen off of a pitch in baseball. All right.
Okay.
I'll get that for you. And all you have to do then is just make shit up about it.
Okay.
This podcast will be 6 hours long, though. I should warn all the listeners.
Well, I mean, what's not to love, though, about this? Because for one, it's going to be long as hell. For two, it's going to be talking about sports, so you're going to be happy. And for three, it's going to be 6 hours of Campbell's prepared puns, so I'll be happy.
You know what? I think we just nailed our... let's do this in April, right?
Okay.
When the baseball season comes back. I mean, end of March, but we already have March Badness. So let's do this in April for the bonus episode.
Cool. And listeners, this is how the sausage is made.
Oh my God. My dad, for Christmas, he got us this like pack of food basically from Spain. And there's a lot of sausage in there.
Hell yeah.
A lot of salchicha. A lot of chorizo.
You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, I can do my fucking wise guy voice. This is great. All right.
Yeah, that's the only voice that matters.
All right, Crappy New Year. Let's get into the aspects where we talk about what's on our hobby radar. And I'm going to start. And I want to actually reach back in a last episode.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
Whoop, there it is.
And talk about Zolcath the Zote a little bit, because I kind of brushed by him. Brushed painting. And
not airbrushed.
I want to talk about the skin tones real quick, because I had a lot of fun painting those.
Oh, yeah.
So I used more of a natural green color in painting this guy. I took inspiration from pictures of crocodiles.
That's sensible.
Because, he's a crocodile centaur, man.
Yeah.
Centaur.
A centaur, yeah.
A gator tower. And oh boy, this is already going off the rails here. So I had a lot of fun with these things. What was the base coat? Let me grab it here. There we go. Yes. Nocturne green. Are you familiar with this one?
No, I'm not actually. And I've got a lot of greens.
It is a dark green base coat from the Games Workshop Citadel color line. And it's really where I started everything. So I did two tones with the light green. And then I did the heavy scales on the back with this nice dark green. Oh, bud.
Is that Incubi Darkness back there?
No, it's not. Sorry, I was not looking at the mic. No, it's not. It is Lupercal green and Sons of Horus green.
Nice.
Which,
see, you're a Horus Heresy player yet.
I know, right? Which I was kind of I was buying these things and I was like, I don't know if I want to buy Sons of Horus themed colors. However, they were the colors I was looking for, and so I had to give in and purchase them. I'm sure one of our listeners, I don't know if any of our listeners rep Sons of Horus.
Yeah, because even the ones that Beersy was doing were actually painted white.
Well, if there's any listeners out there that rep Sons of Horus, I guess let us know, or don't. I don't fucking care.
I mean, if you do want to let us know, do it by sending us some pictures, because I do like that color scheme a lot.
Anyways, I really liked painting this model. I had a ton of fun with skin tones. I just love painting skin tones, man. Yeah, I could just do that shit all day. Some people on our Discord and some people on Twitter and some people in the hobby talk about how difficult they find painting skin tones. I don't fucking get it, man. I think it's so I mean, I've been doing this. I've been doing this for a while, and blending to me is a lot of fun, because you get to start from A and get to B, and it's all about the journey and all that shit, and it's very zen. But I guess it's kind of a skill you got to acquire.
I think the reason why, because even when I started painting skin tones, faces especially, where I was saying I was really kind of freaked out a little bit by. So like I always had helmets on all my Space Marine characters and stuff like that. And I think it's because we know what human faces look like, and we know kind of what they should look like. Even if we don't really know it, in the front of our brain, we tacitly understand there's some variation even on like one person's face, ranging from like the top to the bottom to like the eyes to the lips to the cheeks and so on. Yeah. And that can seem very intimidating and not as abstract as like a ceramite helmet or a chainsword, things that you don't generally have lying around the house.
That's a great point, Campbell.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I had stepped to with this, because I remember I used to be kind of freaked out by this too, until there was a dude on the Something Awful forums way back when named Helldiver, who had a very good skin painting tutorial that kind of taught me like color triads, and that kind of leveraged to where I'm at these days with skin tones.
Wait, like gangsters, like triad gangsters?
I mean, I was about to reference some. I don't know of any miniatures games using triads and gangsters and stuff like that, but that sounds like a pretty cool setting. But yeah, color trios. So like, base, shade, highlight, or that sort of thing even. I kind of first came to that when it came to skin tones, because I was painting catachans at the time, and I was kind of wondering how to actually make them look not like garbage.
Some people say, they don't say catachan, they say catacan. And I'm like,
I'm glad they have
what the fuck?
They just have a can-do attitude, I guess.
Some people say catachan, which I'm fine with.
I'm sure some pervert out there says catachan.
Oh. I recoiled in horror from my microphone, which is not where your sounds come from. They're actually where my sounds go into, but I still recoiled in horror.
You can't escape me. No, that's up there with people who pronounce it animated jife.
Oh, that's just fucking attention-seeking behavior at that point.
Special circle of hell.
Look how fucking funny I am. Saying things wrong on purpose. Hey, look at me.
That's 80% of our bits.
Anyways, 80% of your bits.
Fair.
80.
Idiot. Dipshit.
This one's for the horndogs.
No barks, not this time. Okay.
Not this time. We'll save those for later.
Anyways, I really had fun with this model. I really love doing skin, especially like monster skin tones.
Because you get to play with them.
Right. And it honestly makes me want to do like, maybe at least a Lizardman team. Okay. Because I would paint the Saurus like that. And maybe save some of the more wilder colors for the little guys, the skinks running around. But I was going to say a Lizardman army, but I don't want to do a fucking Lizardman army. But maybe a Lizardman Blood Bowl team would be fun to do.
Well, good news for you. The Lizardman army that's still available in Age of Sigmar is the same one that was available in Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, I remember those. They look pretty good back in the day.
They're decent models. I think the Saurus and the Saurus Knights need to be updated, but like the Temple Guard look great. The Skinks still look good. The big monsters look great.
All right. Well, since we last chatted, I have begun the Swift twins, which are Blood Bowl star players, Lucian and Valen Swift. I kind of wish they were Luciano and Valentino Swift.
Oh, live your truth, my paisano.
I'm actually suddenly kind of mad at myself that I'm not painting them red, white, and green. Which
no.
However, I just had an idea.
Okay.
And when I do my human team for Blood Bowl, I think I'm gonna paint them red, white, and green.
So have them be an Stallion or Border Princes team. Yeah,
I'll probably do like green pants, red pads, and like white shirts or something. And I'll try to maybe I'll tap you for a pizza based football pun.
You'll get some. I'm not really gonna try to rattle too many off the
get some, Campbell.
But you're gonna get some.
Oh, I'm gonna get some.
You're gonna get some.
Where is it? We got feedback that we got to bring back the soundboard, so I'm doing it.
Oh, dude, we were at a bar the other day, and the sound system was stuck playing Pony on repeat, and they couldn't quote unquote fix it, and it was probably the happiest I've been in a very long time.
Damn, that's awesome. They couldn't fit. You know what that is? It's the bartender is just like, now we're gonna listen to Pony for 40 minutes.
No, I'm going to make sure that everyone in this room is a person of culture by the time they're done with their $2 extremely tall Rainiers.
Hey, you were telling me that your wife had never heard Pony before, right?
Yeah, this was the first time she heard it, and then she heard it again, and then she heard it again.
Fuck yeah. Did we talk about this on the show?
I don't know if we did.
Or did we talk about it in the bonus?
We might have talked about it in a bonus or a Torca Borco.
I think it was a Torco Borco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild that your wife had never heard Pony before. But we talked about it, and she was born in like 2003 or something. So
only because I was born in 2001.
Oh, you're young, and it makes me upset.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these Luciano and Valentino Swift. I really want to finish these guys because if I do, it'll be. I want to finish them before the new year.
Also, they're not the Swift twins. They're the Veloce twins.
Veloce. Yeah, that's fun. Hey, that's a good bit. You did good, kid. You did good. Yeah, so I'm going to try to finish this out before the year's end, and then I'll have a bunch of Blood Bowl guys painted at the end there, which is nice. And I only have a few more to paint to like round out all the available star players for Elves. And then I have I don't know, I have most of the star players, so I gotta fucking get painting here because it's wild. Though I really want to get into the Cawdor gang that I bought because I think that might be my first project of the new year.
Nice. Yeah, Trash Boys are fun. I mean, the 2 games I got to play with them were a blast.
Okay, Campbell, tell me. Tell me. Is that Train?
I don't know. I was thinking, tell me all your thoughts on hams. That's what I was going to go with. But
what are some good Tell Me songs?
Aside from the one I just did?
No, just repeat that one.
No. If you want me to tell the same joke over and over again, I've been doing it for 107 episodes.
Hey. Nice. Okay, well, how about you tell me about your hobby progress?
Okay, so I did finish the Marquis de Montcalm and the mounted and on foot versions for Christmas for my dad.
I'm sorry, the Marquis de Montcalm?
Marquis de Montcalm.
Marquis de Montcalm?
Montcalm.
Montcalm? Wait, Mahomes?
Montcalm.
Montcalm.
Marquis de Montcalm.
Marquis de Montcalm.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I painted the 2 versions of Marquis de Montcalm for my dad for Christmas.
Do we have French listeners?
I'm sure we do.
I'm sorry, French listeners.
At the very least, French-Canadian listeners.
Yo, I'm a huge fan of the French, though, for real.
Cool.
Those people, they will strike at the drop of a hat. I love it.
Boss napping.
The French
boss napping.
Know solidarity better than anybody else. I'm a huge fan of the French. I would love to go back to France. I only went to France once. I want to go back so fucking bad.
I have never had the pleasure, and I would like to change that when doing so won't, I don't know, be the cause of international plague outbreak.
Trying to go to France, bitch.
So it's gonna get fromage up in this. Anywho,
try to get a croissant, bitch.
I mean, I get those frequently. I get the ones from the staff rack a lot. Anyway.
Oh, that's right, because your wife's a baker.
Yeah, that's the fact of it. So I finished also the 10 Vigilers, who are the Stormcast archers with capes and shit that I was working on. And then I found the time to paint the 5 Templar Intercessors I converted using Assault Intercessor bodies and the Assault Bolters from the Crusader Squad that I converted back in October. And I think I posted a picture of those about 45 minutes ago, if that.
I know. I was just looking at them.
No.
I saw it come up on my Twitter feed, and I was just looking at them.
You're looking at the tweets? You're looking at the tweet? Fuck.
Oh my God, Campbell.
God, this is embarrassing.
Maybe.
I mean, when isn't it, I guess?
You should take a break there, fella.
Ugh, I wish.
I'm the one who's fucking fucked up on decongestants, all right?
Oh, yeah, no, you're fucked up on decongestants and actually sick. I just don't quite function. Oh, dude,
I've always said this about you.
dude, when we went to New York for Thanksgiving, and on the plane, I fell asleep and I got up just feeling like, oh God, I got to barf. I got to go do the thing that happens on planes sometimes. So I get up, I start making for the bathroom, and the next thing I know, I'm looking at the ceiling. I fucking fainted walking to the bathroom on an airplane.
Dude, you are like a fragile orchid. A fragile orchid who unfortunately has decided to grow near to the pathway at the botanical gardens, and somebody rolls a fucking stroller, one of those double wide strollers, just right over your beautiful fragile petals, and you're crushed to the ground.
I'm very happy I have a life insurance policy out. I think that's going to be necessary sooner rather than later.
Campbell, do you remember the film The Brave Little Toaster?
Not especially well, although I do know I did see it a few times in my youth.
Okay, well, there is a point in that film, which is a very fucked up film, all right?
I remember being kind of traumatized by it. Like, I remember some scary shit at a dump.
There's a lot of scary shit that goes on in that film. There's also a really sad part too that I'm going to outline to you in this moment. But okay, so you're familiar with the classic look of a toaster, right?
Right. Yes.
Like the kind of mirror like the surface of the toaster.
Yeah, the chrome mirror sheen rounded rectangle toaster.
Yeah, because you know the only thing I want to see in the morning as I'm toasting my fucking bagel is my stupid fat gut in like a fisheye lens, as it's because it's like belly button height to me. So I'm just like, oh, look at that, this guy's enormous. Oh shit, that's me.
I mean, or it might be
allow me to take my carbohydrate ring and slather it in soft cheese and then eat that. Feel better about myself.
Please. You can slather it in animal fat as well.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so there's a point where they're in the woods, right? The appliances. Don't worry about how they got there. Okay, there's a whole fucking movie if you want to go find out how they got there. But they're in the woods, all right. And the brave little toaster is standing there in like a beam of sunlight, right? And then this flower sees its reflection in the side of the toaster, all right? And then falls in love with the flower it sees in the toaster. Oh. But let me tell you something about this anthropomorphic toaster, Campbell. It doesn't stay in the woods forever. No, it leaves. And
to get traumatized at the dump.
That flower loses its love. Well, it's awful. It's a terrible scene. It's not funny. Yeah. It's not entertaining. It's not fucking what's the word when you build something?
Satisfying?
Starts with an E. Edifying. Thank you, Campbell, for your help there. Very important.
You're welcome.
Very good. Excellent assist. It's none of those things. It's just fucking sad. And they never come back to it. It's not like at the end of the movie they show the flower in the woods and there's like another flower that this flower is fucking turnt for or anything. Right? It's not like that at all. They just leave it. The flower is devastated and alone.
Cool. Well, hopefully, unlike that flower, I don't die alone. Anyway,
yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see about that, fella. All right. So you're talking about you converted Black Templar intercessors.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm to guess, you used the Assault Intercessor kit for the bodies.
Yep.
And the regular Intercessor kit for the arms. With a couple of Black Templar gubbins thrown in.
Yeah, half right. It's the Indominus Assault Intercessor bodies, not like the multi-part kit bodies, and the arms are actually from the arms
right about
are.
That.
You're half right. The arms are still from the Black Templars Crusader squad because that comes with bolt pistols and chainswords and assault bolters, and you can mix and match them in one squad. Nice. So they already have the chain sculpted on, and I just tossed them on there because I'm like, I got these arms hanging out. What am I going to do with them? So. Yeah, I figured I may as well make a squad of assault bolter intercessors because I never had any from my from Eldris.
I just had a vision in my brain of you sitting there wearing like a sleeveless T-shirt, thinking to yourself, saying, "Hey, Ann, I got these arms over here. What am I going to do with them?
What am I gonna do with all these arms?
And she's like, I don't know. What are you going to do with those arms? You're like, I don't know. Maybe move them this way. Maybe move them that way. You know, then you're doing a fucking hokey pokey, Campbell.
Well, I committed to that hokey pokey.
Wow,
they are plastic glued on there. I'm just going to try to pull the ejector seat on this as fast as possible. Converting them 2 months ago was easy. The parts go together like you'd imagine. They're Space Marines. And painting them was not quite as easy, but it was pretty enjoyable. Although
interchangeable.
No, they're called interchessers, not interchangers.
Intercessore.
No, those are my Ultramarines ones.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
So the only thing is, I'm painting them. I got a new pot of Ulthuan Gray, and I don't know if the formula changed or something. Oh, no. But it is just like it had like it's a white. It's always gonna have crummy coverage. But
is it chalky?
No, it's not even that chalky. It's like streaky and doesn't cover itself. Like I'll paint it white. I'll paint it white. I'll paint it white, and I can still see the streaks in the first coat. It's fucking wild.
Maybe it had too many French fries last night.
What?
When you eat a lot of greasy food, then your poop is greasy the next day.
Oh. You play any games, Dan?
No, I did not.
Cool, me neither. It was the holidays.
All right, let's talk about new stuff, Campbell. And we're going to start it off with a bang. We got a new Gravis Captain or Gravis Captain, whatever, with a chainsword. Finally, we get a Primaris character with a chainsword, which means Shaboy can use the Teeth of Terra. I've been waiting for this. And yes, it is on a 5-inch movement model, but whatever, man. We got to take what we can get.
Yep, but he's got options. I think we're seeing a lot.
Opciones.
Gutsy. But yeah, like he's got power sword, he's got a chain sword, he's got the power fist. I think that actually is about it. And he's got like head options there too.
No, but for real. This guy, he's got the power fist bolt pistol combo that the current Gravis Captain has, right? On his left arm.
Yep.
But what he can do is take a power fist in his right fucking arm.
Yep.
This man can double fist.
No, this. Fuck. I was double fisting at a party recently and also shotgunned my first beer at said party.
What are you, fucking 22 now?
You think so why not live it?
Oh my God. You can't drink like that, Campbell. I've been around you drinking many times and in I'm not trying to be insulting over here, but you're not known for your ability to hold on to that liquor.
No, I certainly was weighing the volume and ABV of each of the corkable bottles I had in my fridge before bringing it up here today.
Okay.
Because I'm like, am I going to make it to the end with this one? Certainly not. But yeah, anyway, this model fucking rules. Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's like, oh, we're the Space Marine guys getting excited about Space Marine characters. Well, cool. You got us. You got us in one. I'm just glad that the Gravis Captain is no longer in starter set jail because you can't buy Dark Imperium anymore. So the only way to get him is like used and hope you get him in like Imperium or whatever that was. What is it, Dan? You seem rather amused.
I'm just kind of fucking high on decongestant pills.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a good show.
It already is a good show. Yes, I'm very much a fan of this model. I am going to buy it and probably break my streak of not painting Raven Guard to paint this one model because I fucking like it and I want the goddamn Teeth of Terra character.
Yep, I'm going to get him for my Templars because I've got a ton of extra Templar bits that I've got earmarked for this sort of project. And I don't have a Gravis Captain for my Templars yet. I've got 2 for my Ultras, so may as well get this guy for my Templars instead.
Good thinking, fella. All right, let's move on. Cursed City is resurrected. You can buy it again, you will be able to soon. That's really good because people were pissing and moaning about not being able to buy Cursed City for what feels like 3.5 years.
Yeah, I will say it was one of the rare times where I do get the pain of people and their frustration, like their hobby salt. Like I get it because we see a cool thing and you want to get it, but you can't because you missed a brief window, like a week. and the only way to get it is to like pay a scalper on eBay, and that's only if you're lucky. Yeah, that sucked. I'm so happy it's coming back. It's the kind of thing where I feel like they had to make some cuts somewhere in manufacturing just because they can only make so much shit, especially with global supply chain shortages and so on. So I get why it was probably cut for the time being, but I'm glad it's coming back. They said there's expansions to come. As long as those expansions don't contain more bats and zombies, I'm excited for them.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to field a question about a brief window?
Sure.
Is that what you call...
The thing I pee out of? No, I wear boxer briefs. Add that to your parasocial relationship mood board listeners.
I'm glad you knew what I was talking about before.
I picked up what you're putting down.
All right. There's a new Warhammer Plus show coming out. It's called The Exodite, but all their promos have Tau in it, so I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty. We'll see it when we see it.
One day I'm gonna watch Warhammer Plus content.
I think we'll do a thing on it at some point. I've watched a good amount of it. I've written a bit about it for Goonhammer, and I think we can probably talk about it on the show at some point down the line. There's a lot of it to watch.
Yeah. All right. We got some new Eldar models coming down the pike, my guy. And all right. Okay. We got a new Autarch. Which
with a bunch of options.
A lot of options is cool. Everybody likes options. Everybody likes having fucking options over here.
Yep.
All right, we get it.
Yep.
All right. I'm not really impressed by Autarch models ever.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like an Eldar guy, or in this case, an Eldar lady.
I mean, I'd say in the same way a Space Marine captain is just a Space Marine guy. Like if you're into that army and you're into that look, you're gonna find a reason to be excited about it. I think it looks like a really good Eldar lady.
Okay. All right. It's a good model. It's fine. Whatever. I just don't get excited about it. That's just me. I'm sorry. Now,
it's okay.
We do get a new Eldar Ranger kit, and my guy, I am pretty fucking impressed with these models.
Yeah, the medals were great, and this is a very close match to them aesthetically, but with some extra some zhuzhing up, some spice.
I want to point something out that the old horndogs might like here.
This one's for the horndogs.
We're gonna let them bark this time. These fucking elves, Campbell.
Yeah,
they're wearing thigh highs, bud.
They are wearing thigh highs. They're wearing leather thigh highs. You gotta break out the olive oil to put those on.
Aglio, oilio, whatever. Oh, man.
Garlic oil, but sure, why not?
No, from the fucking movie with Scarlett Johansson, and she's getting fucking horny because the guy's making her pasta. I didn't fever dream that. That exists. It's called Chef. It's on Netflix. It's a pretty good movie.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Oh, yep. Okay.
Anyways, these sexy fucking elves.
These are sexy fucking elves. You know, these sexy elves in the camouflage cloaks, though. So sexy.
These sexy fucking elves over here. They got camo cloaks. They got sniper rifles. They got fucking thigh highs on. And one of them's got like, they're doing the open stance, right? And the wind is like blowing back their cloak or whatever. And it's just like thigh highs and crotch. In my eyes, Campbell, my eyes are drawn to the crotch of this model more so than I have seen on any Games Workshop model before this.
I would say Space Marine Scouts close second, but also the fact that it is like bright red with a big gem rolls right above it. Yeah. I get why your eye is gravitating towards that, but yeah, there definitely is like a triangle of interest right on that that Eldar dong.
Trying to get up in that fucking gem, that soul gem. Oh man, that's great. Hey, this is great.
Where you're taking that soul gem later?
What you do with that soul gem? All right. Fuck. Sexy fucking elves. All right. Well, here's something else, Campbell. Something else. We get more sexy fucking elves, but this time they're riding 2 up on jet bikes.
Well, the thing is, those first sexy fucking elves were built for comfort. These are sexy fucking elves built for speed. Oh,
yes,
fuck.
yes, that's right. That's right. In the grand tradition of Warhammer snipers on motorcycles,
Like
they have made what are they calling these things? Shroud runners.
Shroud runners. Yeah, they look really cool, but I mean, you've played a Halo game or a Battlefield game or something of the sort, I'm sure.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to hit something with a sniper rifle from a moving vehicle in any of those? It doesn't work.
Let's talk story time real quick. So I went to college in the early 2000s. All right. Halo 1 was the game we played, and we did not play it online. We played it split screen.
Because you couldn't play it online.
Josh and good looking Dan's, not me. I was not good looking Dan. I was other Dan. I was very sad the day I found out that I wasn't good looking Dan.
They couldn't just call you regular looking Dan.
Nope. No, they called him good looking Dan. But whatever, he got expelled. I didn't. Anyways,
they didn't call him good thinking Dan.
Anyways, we went to Josh and Dan's room, and we would always play Halo, original Halo, on the split screen. And I'll tell you, I only ever played Blood Gulch. All right, because that's the best map possible.
Well, it's got warhogs, it's got ghosts, it's big as hell, it's got all the weapons. Yeah, what's not
exactly. So some guys would get the sniper rifles, and they would go to the sniper positions that are like way up in the cliffs and shit. But what I would do is I would beeline it to a ghost and just ride around on the ghost the entire game, trying to run people over, because the ghost shooting was not very good.
No, it makes it a cool laser light show, but doesn't hit a goddamn thing.
But in original Halo, the vehicles were not destructible. They were just there. They would like despawn after a while and then respawn and shit. But you couldn't blow them up like you could do in later Halos. But what people would do though is they'd throw the sticky grenades, and it would stick on the ghost and then blow me up as I was riding on it. But anyways, the thing is, when you're riding a vehicle, especially a fast vehicle, I would imagine, and you know, I'm not a fucking real world jet bike gunner. All right, it doesn't exist to my knowledge.
Yeah,
I would think that you'd want like a rapid fire weapon, because you're moving around a whole lot and it's hard to shoot.
Yeah, you wouldn't like. One of the things is like in World War II games, when you have like a motorcycle platoon or whatever, they don't ride around doing donuts, firing MG42s at shit. They drive up, and guys usually get off. Like they aren't. So I have a motorcycle and I ride it. I don't shoot anybody on it. Good.
So maybe I should start. Anyways, I'm not going to. I don't own any guns. I find them quite distasteful. Anyways, I have been riding for almost 3 years now. And in my experience, you kind of need 2 hands, especially if you're doing something more complex than, I don't know, making a turn.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyways, I think these models are fucking rad. They got sexy elves on them. And, but like the concept behind these models are just fucking stupid, which is okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's Warhammer. We love it. We love that it's silly as hell.
All right, let's talk about stuff that's not silly as hell, but is actually fucking rad as hell, and it's the new Chaos Space Marine Warpsmith that's going to be coming in this box. This box is called Eldritch Omens. Fuck. Where is it? God damn it! It's on the other page. Fuck.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
There we go. Eldritch Omens, and we get the new Warpsmith, and man, the modern Chaos Space Marine models are so fucking good, dude.
It is delivering on the promises that were made in 6th edition when there were the Dark Vengeance that came out, and you had some great models, but those were the only great models Chaos had, period.
Yeah.
And would be the only great models they had until like 8th edition, pretty much.
Yep.
This guy fucking rules. I saw some people bitching and moaning that it's like, his pose is repetitive. It looks like the Tech Marine. And it's like, gee, I wonder if that was maybe intentional, that he's a dark reflection of his brother on the other side. But who's to say? This model rules. I love it. I fucking love it. I like the helmeted option. I like the bareheaded option with his fucking like Dr. Octopus goggles to go with his Dr. Octopus tentacles. The model rules. Love it.
This guy's got a lot more tentacles than the Tech Marine does. In the tentacle department, this guy's got them.
Yeah, no, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's got a bunch, including a dentist drill. So, you know.
However, he doesn't have a sick shoulder cannon.
That's true. That's true. He has to make do with a sick dragon head cannon sticking out of one of the tentacles.
Yeah, you know. Needs must, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, we also get a new unit of Chaos Chosen.
Yeah.
And I have written in my notes here, get ready for model locked loadouts, Chaos players.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they weren't like the Sword Brethren, where they're pretty locked to a couple loadouts. Although, I don't know, there's 2 sprues in there, probably. That's how the kits usually go. So they've probably got a couple options in there. But yeah, I'm imagining there's going to be some model locked loadouts going on just because that's the name of the game these days.
Well, the squad looks like it comes with one with lightning claws, one with a power sword bolt pistol, one with a chain axe plasma pistol, one with a power mace bolt pistol, and one with a combi plas bolter. And I would imagine, Campbell, that in a 5-man squad of these, you can have one guy with lightning claws, one guy with power sword bolt pistol, one guy with plasma gun chain axe, one guy with bolt pistol power mace, and one guy with a combi plasma.
I'm thinking that might be the case. I hope it's not the case, but
what do you think the 10-man squad looks like loadout wise?
I've seen the Sword Brethren data sheet, and it's dire.
Yeah.
1 in every 5 models can have a lightning claw. 1 in every 5 models can have a power sword. 1 in every 5 models can have a chain sword, etc. Like that sort of thing is it is. I get where they're coming from. I get why they're doing the things the way they're doing. I don't agree with it, but I get the logic behind it. But I'm not going to bitch too much about this until we actually see the data sheet for them. But I imagine it's probably going to be like, there's probably going to be options in there for everyone to have a chainsword or something like that. Just that's usually how these kits go. They got the bits in there.
How do you feel about model locked loadouts in general?
I don't love them. I think a lot of that is down to, you know, the eras of 40K that I started playing in, which is 4th edition, 5th edition, and so on, where you had a lot of rules for models that didn't exist. Or in extreme cases, stuff like the Battle Wagon or the Valkyrie, where it didn't have a plastic model for like a while.
Yeah. Or
you had things like a Space Marine captain can have anything he wants from the armory page, and it's like a nutrition facts sheet length thing of just different weapons they can take for different points values. Like you had this huge variety of weapon options out there, and I think one of the problems is that it's frustrating because it slows the game down a little bit. Because like if you resolve, let's say this 5-man hypothetical unit's shooting, you're gonna have to be like, okay, a bolter, a bolt pistol, a plasma pistol, etc. But it slows stuff like that down for not much appreciable change to the game, because the effect of a single lightning claw versus a single power sword, the effect that those two things are going to have over the course of a game are usually negligible. And when it comes to pistols, even more so. So I feel like the model locked loadouts takes away player expression, and it might lock you into things that slow the game down. But I understand why they're doing the things the way they're doing, which is just so the kit represents the rules adequately. So I don't love it. It's kind of, I don't really know if there's a good solution here aside from just going back to the more Wild West way.
Sometimes on this show, Campbell, I have to take an extreme position that I don't necessarily agree with because it makes some sort of conflict to make the show interesting. But this is not one of those times. I do not like the model lock loadout. Mm-hmm. I'm with you for all the reasons that you said in a very eloquent way. Thank you.
Hell yeah. This box also comes with the Forge Fiend / Mauler Fiend, which, you know what? That model has grown on me a lot over the last like 7 years or whatever since it came out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Other new stuff. They're doing a standalone Primaris Ancient who's also freed from starter set jail. He has a power sword now. He looks good. I don't need him for either of my armies, but I'm glad he's out there for people who do want him.
I will not, unlike the Gravest Captain, I will not be buying this model.
I
already have one.
You don't want two nearly identical ancients who, as I just said, have weapon options that'll make a negligible effect on the game? Why I never.
Interestingly enough, no.
Never. There also is a Fury of the Deep battle box for Age of Sigmar, which is butt dwarves versus wet elves, where they've got some new characters for each. Neither character really does that
Two
much
great
for me.
tastes that taste great together.
And lastly, something we'll get into a lot more later in a bonus episode, there is a made-to-order of the 3rd edition box set starter set models.
Yes.
So, people are having a real one, so keep an ear out on our Patreon for some choice cuts of the community's sodium.
Well, I want to talk about something else that people are getting salty about, and it's the rules for the railgun in the new Tau book came out. And I love it when people get mad about stuff on the internet, especially when it's something as stupid as rules for Warhammer 40,000.
Right.
So the railgun, I don't know what it is now, but it's not good. The Hammerhead is a terrible option in the Tau book.
Right.
Like laughably bad right now. So what Games Workshop did is they went and gave it an actually good gun. And we're going to see what happens when an actually good gun gets put on a, pretty easy to kill platform.
Right.
So, and not only kill, but just neutralize. Because again, you can just charge it and it can't do shit.
Yeah.
This is a problem that Lehman Russ is. This is a problem that all battle tanks have, is that like, all right, well, you got your sick fucking battle tank. Oh, cool. I'm just going to charge it. Now it can't do anything. Oh, no, It's firing its railgun into combat with my assault intercessors. Oh, no, you might kill one. Maybe. Anyways,
please, I've looked at the
profile.
math. It can kill 2 intercessors per turn. It's broken.
Let's look at this profile real quick. It's range 72, which, I mean, is just superfluous at this point in Warhammer. Who needs... If it ranges more than 24 inches, then... it's fine. It'll hit whatever it needs to hit.
Smaller boards, close deployment zones. It's not necessary. It's fun.
Right. Heavy 1, so 1 shot. Strength 14. T7 wounds on a 2. Fine.
Yeah,
tank
that's
killer.
Pretty good strength. Yeah.
AP -6. I mean, at minus. Okay, so no armor basically.
Pretty much every. Yeah.
And damage D3 +6. That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage.
But the kicker is if it does a successful wound roll, it does 3 mortal wounds, and you cannot make invulnerable saving throws against this model. So it's basically like, oh, you got something big with a lot of wounds? Well, let me fix that for you.
Right.
Okay, here's the thing. The Hammerhead is terrible, okay, right now.
Right.
And for the reasons we already talked about. Battle tanks in Warhammer 40,000 9th edition are bad. They are easy to neutralize, difficult to keep alive, and are one model, so a lot of times don't ever score anything the entire game. And a lot of these things have direct fire weapons, right? So you're looking at, okay, well, you shot my guy, but I'm going to get somebody on you, and your tank's going to go up in smoke. And, we've got all these very fast Dark Eldar models out there with Dark Lances that can just zoom around 16 to 18 inches or whatever, and now you got 2 Dark Lance shots into whatever the fuck they want to on turn 1. And you're just like, fuck.
Plus over many blasters they're carrying too.
We're not even talking about flyers too. The Wazbomb Blastojet is still a thing that can fly across the board turn 1 and ice any vehicle in the game. Except Knights and Baneblades and shit, because they got, but you can take 2 Wazbombs and you can do that shit anyways. So here's the idea that Games Workshop went. They said, all right, battle tanks are a terrible platform. What if we gave one a good gun?
A really good gun for what it's worth.
So the question is this going to be a good unit? I don't know, because it's on a very bad platform. It's slow. It can't fucking do anything if it gets touched by any enemy model. It's a one-shot weapon, so and it's Tau, so you're probably still hitting on a 4,
right?
Unless you take the
marker lights and stuff, and
marker lights, and then there's a character
long strike,
yeah,
and it does get to reroll misses for its 1 shot, and
that's pretty good. Yeah,
listeners may remember the last episode where I mentioned I rerolled 8 1s into 8 1s.
Yes.
That fucking happens a lot.
So here's the thing, guys. Tanks are bad, but they took a good gun and put it on a tank. Is it broken? Maybe, but I don't think so, because it's still a bad platform.
Right. It's gonna take the full picture. And like, we don't usually talk much about like early rules previews and stuff like that, because who gives a shit? Like, it's marketing. But this is one that's getting people in the community turned. So I feel it probably makes sense to talk about it. But like, we don't have the full context. We don't know how much it's going to cost on a vehicle. We don't know how durable a hammerhead really is going to be, because historically they haven't been.
No, they're like 12 wounds with a 3-up save at T7.
Yeah, they're like
which is
platform.
child's play to get through.
Right, and even if you don't kill it, you can still knock its BS down a few pegs if you. And do it's still
a rather slow direct fire weapon. And if you're playing in just about any like competitive setup with a Games Workshop board, there's a lot of places to hide your tanks.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing to remember is, on a bowling ball, this thing's terrifying. But ideally, you're not playing on a bowling ball. That's not how the game is meant to be played.
Well, it's only terrifying if you brought like very expensive big vehicles or monsters that you're.
Yeah, like if I was playing my knights, that'd be my first priority target no matter what. If I was bringing my Templars on foot, like I have the last few games, I wouldn't ignore it per se, but it would not be my top priority by any stretch of the imagination.
I would argue that you should just ignore it.
Ideally, I'll kill enough shit that I can eventually kill it.
Or just like get one squad of incursors in combat with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just have an infiltrating or deep striking or fast moving unit. Just tie it up. They don't need to kill it. They just need to tie it up.
Yeah.
And if a list has 3 of these, that might be worrisome. But if they have 3 of these, that means they're not taking broadsides.
Yeah.
And broadsides generally are scary, or town or whatever bigger battle suits there are out there. Yeah.
Or what are you talking? The Riptides. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of points for 3 shots, though, to be honest.
Yeah, and you're going to get to shoot this thing 5 times a game. Cool.
Yeah,
like that could be devastating. Like against in the right matchup, and if your target priority is bad or their dice are hot or whatever, it can be real scary. But just about anything can be.
Well, listen, we'll see what sort of like extra rules the Tau Codex throws on top of this thing.
Right.
I mean, it could be completely broken. Let's be honest, it could be. But I just want to caution our listening audience. Yeah, take it easy, because it's still a bad platform, even if it does have a good gun. And quite frankly, I'm actually kind of excited that they went and gave a bad platform a good gun, because, hey, maybe all these fucking 10 Lehman Russ tanks that I got in the display case over here, maybe in a few months I'll be able to actually want to use on the tabletop.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And also, like, again, as I mentioned, I've been playing this game for a long ass time. In 4th edition, a hammerhead with a railgun was scary. It could one-shot any tank in the game very easily.
Yeah.
If it can do that now, and oh no, one-shot raiders of all fucking things.
Oh boy.
The song remains the same, is what I'm getting at. I'm more scared of a Dark Elder Ravager than I am of this thing.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to We Make the Call, the segment where Campbell, we make the call.
So we do.
This one's from Greggy O.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
Via Discord. And if you want to get on the 40K Badcast Discord, you can do so by subscribing to us via Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/40K Badcast and subscribe there and get Discord access.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, Greg Eo says, I have unopened models of Doom Rider and Asdrubal Vect. Still can't decide if I want to paint them or not. Would you break the seals and hobby away, or would you keep them unopened as collectibles?
Collectibles ain't doing nobody no good, all right? Free your pewter and plastic friends. Open those boxes. You know what?
Free your mind.
Exactly.
Your ass will follow.
Open those boxes on like a fucking video and then post that in the Old Hammer group and just see how many. Well, you'll probably give heart attacks to a third of the people in the comments, so that'd be kind of a Grim Reaper's tally that day. But you know what? You should do it anyway, because these models are doing you no good if they're in a box somewhere. Are they accumulating value?
Kill some old people with your hobbying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But not in the same way as the people who don't wear masks kill old people with their hobbying.
No.
That way's bad. This way owns, actually.
Again, I'm going to buck tradition here and agree with Campbell. Greggy, I think you should paint them. Mm-hmm. I think you should take some time and paint them up real nice. Or paint them in the way that they were painted in the 3rd edition box art.
Hell yeah. Which can also be real nice for what it's worth.
For these two models, I don't think that's the case.
Hey, the paint jobs live up to the sculpts.
Greggy, I think you should paint these things, have some fun with them, get them out there. Collectibles are for people who are into Funko Pops, and I will let you, the listener, decide what that means.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's move on, Campbell. It is now the end of 2021. We got about 2 more days left before it's 2022. So let's look back on this year that was in our hobby lives. And we're going to start with a little best model, worst model.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I talked about this in Discord the other day about the Games Workshop sent out their survey for best model of the year. I voted, and I still believe this to be true. I voted for High Marshal Helbrecht. I think he is the year's best model.
Well, to buck Badcast tradition, I also voted for High Marshal Helbrecht. The Space Marine appreciators are here to appreciate Space Marines. What else is new?
Oh, we are the worst, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. But that's why you listen to our show, I assume, unless this is your first one, in which case, I'm sorry. You're welcome, and there's plenty more where this comes from.
Yeah, it's got bad in the title, idiots. You know it was on the tin when you bought it. Yeah, Helbrecht rules. I'm sorry. It's just an incredible model with a ton of character, excellent helmet and face options, and it's not overdone.
I mean, I'd say it's not overdone. It's done a lot. There's a lot going on with this model. But I think the thing is, Helbrecht himself is fucking resplendent with textures, details, cool weapons, like the cool heads, like the bear heads are great. The bucket helmet is transcendent. But the things around him are all honestly fairly straightforward. Like the orc on the ground that he's stabbing his sword into, if you're not a coward and use the orc for the basing material, is very plain and straightforward. The 2 Imperial weirdos, which are always a fucking highlight, are pretty bare bones because the focus is on the big man in the middle. And his cape isn't even like super detailed. It's just like got nice folds to it, but there's not anything crazy going on with it. It's just this ready-made diorama of a 3-dimensional art piece, because the fact it is like a Mark Gibbons art piece given physical form is just it takes a lot to live up to the art piece, and this model does it.
Absolutely, Campbell. I could not say it better, so I won't.
All right. I've written many of these same words over on goonhammer.com where I reviewed this model. But yeah.
All right. We should talk about the worst model of the year, and I will give you the floor.
Okay. This is one that I feel like there's very few times where a model comes out like the old Razor Gore where you're just like, oh, what the fuck happened here? So this isn't anything that bad, but I think the Orc Kill Rig is not a great model.
Ooh, okay.
The problem is because there's many great models in there, but they don't come together to make a singular great model. Like all the orc boys on it look great. The big chubby squig drawing it, I love him. He is my son. I believe
it's called a Chungus squig.
Oh, it is called a Chungus squig.
Yeah.
Love it. The weird boy up top with the lightning coming from his eyes, that's a lot of fun. He's got a cool pose and everything. Yeah. But as for being a cohesive model, it's a fucking mess. Like you might say like it's orky, it doesn't need to be cohesive. They're cobbled together, but that's a shitty converter's mantra, because any good orc converter will know that it still needs to make some sort of sense, and this just doesn't. Like the silhouette is a total mess. Like if you look at it just from the side in black and white, it is just very hard to read because it is just covered with clutter. Like it's got these buzzsaws sticking out the side, this extra shit hanging off the back, the big tower at the back makes it look so unbalanced, like it might tip backwards even with the Chungus squig up front. And it seems like it's trying to split the difference between the Orc Weird Boy Tower from Epic, which was silly, but it was epic. It wants to be that, wants to be the Battle Wagon, and it wants to be the Doof Wagon from Mad Max Fury Road. And it's trying to be all three, and it's not succeeding at any of them, in my opinion.
You know what, Campbell? Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
Whoa.
Is this interesting, listeners? Do you like it when we just agree all the time? Are you enjoying this? Are you entertained?
No, Dan, just you have to put some little spice on it, so you gotta be like, yeah, you're right, fucker.
No, I'm not going to do that, Campbell. However, here's the thing. I'm actually going to step away from Warhammer 40K for the worst model of the year.
Okay.
And I'm going to go into Age of Sigmar.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to say the worst model of the year is the entire Lumineth Realm Lords range.
There it is.
It's a trash heap of terrible models, bad sculpts, and a bad idea. It sucks. There's nothing interesting about it. And anybody who plays Lumineths are sad and alone and awful.
You heard it here first.
And the cream of the crop is the Alarith Stone Guard. Here we go.
Fuck you, Baltimore!
Who are idiots with hammers and giant cow helmets in what can only be described as the stupidest model you've ever seen.
I did name drop the Razor Gore earlier. Also, I think these came out in 2020.
Did they really?
Yeah. Yeah, there was some Lumina stuff this year, but did I just pull
No. It's the Luminous stuff that came out this year. I don't fucking care. I know that some of it came out this year, all right?
Cool.
And so any of it that came out this year is the worst model. I don't fucking care.
Cool. Swell. All right. Let's
And if you play Lumineth, listeners, feel free to go jump in a fucking lake, all right? Don't fucking at me. Don't tell me about that I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. I'm always right. Fuck you.
You can at me. I think the Lumineth range is all right.
It's in all seriousness, man. I do not get it. I do not get why people would spend probably hundreds, if not thousands, of hours designing these models and then just be like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, we'll give them big, tall cowboy hats. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we'll do that.
No, wait a second, Dan. We might be onto something. Because if they had big, tall cowboy hats, like 10-gallon hats, suddenly the Yeehaw Realm Lords? I'm here for the Yeehaw Realm Lords.
All right. Okay.
Sorry,
again,
wait a second. Lumineth Ranch Lords. Got them.
All right, I'm here for the Lumineth Ranch Lords. I think, okay, I'm here for that. If somebody's out there converting up Cowboy Lumineth, that person and I can hang out. How about that? We could have a bottle of sarsaparilla on a log next to a campfire.
Hell yeah.
New York City. Does anybody remember? Okay.
This is the second time you've done this one.
This is a 90s guy talking. Have I talked about the Pace Picante advertisements already?
Yeah, it's the salsa and it says it's like made in New York City. New York City.
I don't know why that's left such an indelible mark upon my brain.
Dude, there's so much shit that just like rattles around in there that was sold to you when you were a child that will never leave.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the Pizza Hut mascot that was a slice of pizza that talked like Mr. Bill and would even go so far as to be like, oh no, when he got run over by a bowling ball or whatever? I fucking do. I don't even like Pizza Hut. And then when they made stuffed crust pizza, they just turned them upside down because that was a brand innovation.
Well, I do, man. No, we're not doing this. I'm sure I've already done my bit about remembering the Pizza Hut commercial that played before several VHS tapes that I had when I was a kid. I'm not talking about that again because I'm pretty sure I already did it. Anyways, we got to move on. Best model, worst model. We did it. It's Lumineths. They're the worst.
Kilray.
Anyways.
Not great. Helbrecht owns bones.
Let's talk about gaming this last year. And I don't know about you, Campbell, but I did play more games in 2021 than I did in 2020.
I did as well. Having a vaccine helped a lot.
Yes.
Getting to go to an event helped a lot.
Yes.
And
it did.
Yeah, like I'll go first just because I think I have less to say than you do here. But like I was real worried when I moved here as the local game store had barely any stock and was basically just catering to board and card game players. And I was basically just playing Tabletop Simulator with Cody, Beersy, and my dad. And then I met a couple local people. They started doing weekly game nights. And suddenly I was playing Warhammer every week. And I've gotten to meet new people and make new friends and expand my social circle and feel less lonely. And
Social Merkle. Yeah.
Yay. I think I I bashed social circle and good for my mental health and just missed all the words in between. It became social Merkle. But yeah, I've gotten to play a lot of games and a lot of different games. And I got to even teach Age of Sigmar to Anne, which was really cool. And she's excited to play more of that. So yeah, it's been a much better year than 2020 for gaming, among other things.
This is the year that I got good, in quotes, at Raven Guard, at playing my Raven Guard. Mainly because I built Van Vets. I really sent it, as the Utes would say. Yeah, yep. I played a good amount of Warhammer this year. I did not play as much specialist games as I would have liked to. I think I only got like 4 or 5 games of Necromunda in all year, because it's just been fucking hard to get together, and play. And like, I don't know, man. Like sometimes you just want to fucking put out your army and then pick it up quickly as somebody kicks your ass in a game whose name is Tony Kopak, and he's done it many times to me. Played a lot, man. Went to a bunch of events too, and I think 2021 was a good year for gaming, for me at least, because you're coming off of 2020 where, geez, I played like maybe 10 games in 2020.
Yeah, like maybe? my last in-person game in 2020 was never mind. I had my cringe patio eventually, but like before lockdown, I had like a game, like a Necromunda day with Cody where he played like 2 games, and that was all I got to play for months. Right. And that was extremely deleterious to the old brain and
Merkle.
heart.
The old Merkle.
The old Merkle. That's the combined brain and heart system. Yeah. And yeah, that was bad. We've talked about this. We've done 2 bonus episodes on quarantining, and I will not do a third because they just bummed me out at this point. But yeah, being able to game in person, and also getting to go to events, because I got to go to Goonhammer Open, and you got to run an event to Goonhammer Open, which is a fucking trip, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about events, man. Well, we've already talked about the Goonhammer Open at length, but we can mention it a little bit. You attended the event that I ran, the Narrative Crusade, which seemed like a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun running it, and I think everybody had fun playing it. There are definitely some things I would change moving forward about this multi-day crusade event style. Mainly get rid of most of the experience and have like 1 or 2 units level up each game, basically. And because it's just way too much bookkeeping.
Yeah, it's a lot of bookkeeping.
But I it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I've run an event, a narrative event, or really any event, and it was kind of practice for Nova, right? Because I was gonna help my friend Chris Stover run the narrative at Nova. That has gone up in smoke, unfortunately, because I'm having a kid in 7 weeks, and I am hoping I will get to go to Nova Open in 2022. I know that I'm going to skip Adepticon, which at this point, everybody might be skipping Adepticon.
Also true.
Because the fucking Omicron variant is running wild. What you going to do, brother, when the Omicron variant runs wild on you, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you.
Everybody knows the bit. So I don't know when I'm going to be getting to an event next, but I'm hoping, end of August, kids should be around 6.5 months old at that point. So hopefully I can fuck off for a couple of days and hang out with my friends without my wife wanting to kill me.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I figure at the very least you'll be able to make an appearance and just hang out.
Yeah, so the GHO, that wasn't over the summer. That was in June. That was a ton of fun. You flew across the country to hang out with your boy, and you played a lot of good games, I think.
Yeah, I had 5 games, and I enjoyed all 5 of them with 5 wonderful people, some of whom were repeats like Quinn. Some of them were people I've known for a long-ass time like Alex. And yeah, it felt very much like I was back in a way, because I got to spend a couple days at a mini nerd summer camp again. And it was the thing I'd been missing the most for the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And after that, I went to New Orleans for the New Orleans US Open event, which I won best overall at. Y'all may have heard about this.
No bigs.
And this was, you decided not to go to this event.
Right. There was, Yeah, the COVID is how we say a motherfucker.
Yeah. Though I mean, the event was enforcing vaccines and masks for all participants, so it was as safe as one of these things is going to get.
Yeah, I probably could have gone and been fine, but could have.
I mean, I did go and I was fine.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to be over here and be mean to you about not going to this event, because COVID's no joke, and being careful about a deadly disease is not something that we should be, making fun of anybody for.
Yeah.
And I even was like hesitant to talk about the event too much because I didn't want to make you feel bad about missing it.
I mean, it's happened before. This is one in particular where it's like, you know what? I don't remember if we folded it into regular show coverage or whatever, but when we've had things where like I couldn't go to Adepticon because of financial issues or whatever, that was an extra big bummer. In this case, it was like, okay, at the end of the day, this is because I want to keep myself and my wife as safe as we could, as opposed to just like, oh, some shitty thing happened with my tooth and now I got to spend a bunch of money on it instead of doing fun stuff. So it wasn't quite the same, but yeah.
Right. And I mean, I had a great time at that event. It was honestly some of the most fun I've ever had playing Warhammer, and hanging out with people and eating delicious food and enjoying New Orleans. It was a really, really, really good time. I don't know when the next time I'm going to get to one of these open events is going to be again, because I got this kid coming, but I really look forward to sometime in the future attending another one of these. And I don't think I'll ever win best overall again.
But you did it once, and that's one more time than most people ever will.
I did it once, and I got to go to the U.S. Open final in Texas, in Grapevine, Texas, where they have their American flagship store, the Warhammer Citadel, which I didn't really talk about that much when we were talking about it, the event the other week. And it's a nice store. It's big. They got a whole bunch of tables. They got this little cafe where they will sell you pastries and hot drinks and even cold drinks. They got Topo Chico, which if y'all don't know about Topo Chico, then y'all need to get to fucking Trader Joe's or some shit and buy some, because it's fantastique.
Oh yeah, I know this stuff.
So this event was honestly like crown jewel status for hobby for me.
Right.
Like just so cool that I got invited to an event and all expenses paid to go and play Warhammer on stream. And showcase my beautifully painted, well, my opinion, naturally, our army of, and try to elevate Raven Guard a little bit. And I had so much fun doing it, man. It was such a cool thing. I am just so thankful that I get to do this, I get to play in this hobby and be a part of this community, because it just fills me with so much fucking joy.
Oh, absolutely. And we do our best to make sure that joy comes through in every episode, even if you can be a bit of a grump. But the fact you got to do that is so fucking stellar. It's something I don't think I'm ever going to do, because I don't play regularly with Tony Kopak and like extremely good players, and I don't really have that much interest in that. I'm more of a beating up children at store tournaments kind of guy.
Well, here's the thing, Campbell. Your armies are painted well enough that if you just win, like,
that's true.
That's
true.
4 or 5 games, or 3 or 4 games, you could be in the conversation.
Actually, yeah,
because
right.
your paint scores could carry you through.
That is kind of what I bank on. The only awards I ever hope for at a tournament are best painted and best sportsman. Everything else is purely secondary.
Yeah. So, like, if you go to one of these U.S. Opens, man, like, just try to win 3 or 4 games.
I mean, I was going to this year. I'll see if I can next year.
Out of the first 6, and maybe you're in the conversation for best overall. Maybe we both get a plaque.
That'd be sweet.
That would be sweet.
To go with all my medals.
Hey, your Adepticon medals. Love those things.
Yeah, they're right here.
So let's talk about the state of the game a little bit. How is Warhammer doing? It's obviously doing very well.
Right.
It's in the news recently with The Witcher came out, and Henry Cavill was going around on all these interview shows talking about Warhammer. He is a fucking he's a fucking ham lifer.
Yep.
And that's just great to see. It's too bad he plays Custodes, but nobody's perfect.
He's
pretty fucking close.
Yeah,
he's pretty fucking close.
That's like even Superman is weak to kryptonite.
Exactly. So, the community is at the most vibrant it's ever been. I think the community is probably close to the most progressive it's ever been too.
Yeah.
Which maybe in the early days in the late 1980s.
Yeah,
when the community was probably 40 people, it may have been more progressive than it is now. But we're getting there. We're turning this from a fucking basement dweller's delight to like a mainstream thing that is socially acceptable. And I'm actually really happy about that, because there's been a lot of years, man, where I was like, especially like college and stuff, and people would see me like with figures or minis or whatever and be like, hey, what's that? And I'm like, it's just a hobby I do.
Yeah.
And let it be that,
Right.
Now I'll fucking talk about it and shit, but maybe that's also confidence that comes with age. Who knows?
Yeah,
anyways,
confidence certainly does come with age. Yeah.
Community-wise, I think this community is doing better than it's ever been, and the fact that we have our own little community within the Badcast just it's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I recently dove back into to Daka Daka to gather some salt for some bonus content, and you just see the same dozen people yelling at each other, just apoplectic, like just at the verge of raging themselves into having an aneurysm. And then you just don't go there, and suddenly the whole hobby is a lot more positive. It's wild how like the worst parts of the community have stayed in the places they always were. And as the hobby has gotten, again, more vibrant, more diverse, people in new avenues are out there doing their own thing, whether that is in Discord servers or on like Twitter or Instagram or, God forbid, on TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok, so that one is one of my blind spots, but I know there is some variety of ham community even there, and that's an even younger skewing and even more progressive skewing audience generally. Like it is.
I ain't gonna fuck with TikTok, man. I'm almost 40. I can't be.
Dude, I'm 31, which means I'm
up.
10 years too old for TikTok. But yeah, like
sometimes you got to know your lane, like you can't just be like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I can participate in all facets of social media and blah, blah, blah. It's like, nah, man. Sometimes you just got to stay in your fucking lane.
When I was 24 and a girl I was dating was like, oh, you should add me on Snapchat. And I was like, I had to like Google like an old man, what is Snapchat? How does Snapchat work? And just decide I'm too old for this.
Yeah, smart.
This is that, but worse. The thing is like the community is so, I won't say it's night and day because that implies it happens quickly, but it is so far removed from where it was when I got into this game. And the cool people who were around back then are still around now. And the shitty people who were around back then are either still shitting up some dark corner of an envision-free message board somewhere, or they've left the game altogether. Like,
or they've changed, and they've lost the ableist jokes, the jokes about sexual assault, the racism, the just shitty parts of nerd culture that existed into the the 2010, 2015 zone,
Yeah, there's a lot of growing up has been done in the last few years. And again,
absolutely,
it ain't everybody. I know it's not everybody. If it was, we wouldn't have salt mine content to read. But it is a lot. It was like a much larger percentage of the gaming populace than there ever was before.
Yeah.
And then as for let's talk about the game itself real quick, though.
Okay. I got something for you.
Okay.
And this is going back on early on in the year. Somebody asked us a question: does Warhammer have too many rules?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I think I said no.
Mm-hmm.
I want to revise that, Campbell.
Yeah,
if I'm allowed. Right now, December 2021, Warhammer 40,000 is too many rules.
Yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
There's too many books. There's too many stratagems. There's too many individual army rules. It's so fucking much. And as somebody who is attempting to keep up with like competitive shit, and thankfully the guys over at Goonhammer do a great job of cataloging what's going on in the competitive scene of Warhammer. Like, it is fucking exhausting to like memorize Drukari stratagems as a guy who doesn't play Drukari.
Right, because you need to know what your opponent is going to have against you. Like when I played against Sisters a little while ago, against a guy at the store, he's, again, a totally nice guy, but he used this one stratagem where it's like, oh, I bring my character back from the dead. I'm like, if I knew that, I wouldn't have 1, shot them, or 2, take an assassinate.
Right, yeah.
I feel like 9th edition is, as a written, constructed game, the best 40K has ever been. Like, it is the best written. It has got the most care put into the various facets of it out there, but it is not as good a game for just hanging out and rolling some dice as 5th or Index Hammer 8th or whatever.
No, there's too much going on. Unfortunately, there's so many layers to the game, and each codex introduces new complexity.
Yeah,
and I don't know, man. I think when they roll back, or they roll out to 10th, I think they got to bring it down somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be the full redo from 7th into 8th, that level, but there needs to be some sort of culling here, because
Absolutely.
It sucks because it's a 7th edition quantity of rules, but with a much higher quality of rules and a much better quality of writing.
Yeah, the core rule set is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I would argue best it's ever been.
Yeah.
But it's just that when each book has 4 pages of stratagems and then additional faction specific stratagems, and then supplement stratagems, and then all this shit that's just getting piled on top of it. This is the problem with 7th, whereas they're just piling shit on an ever growing tower. Yeah, I think something needs to get redistributed. You know?
And
maybe you're moving stratagems out of the stratagem section and into data sheet abilities.
Right. Or you just cutting out a bunch of them.
Right. Maybe Celestine or whatever character you shouldn't have killed in that game against Sisters gets an ability where once per game they can stand up with a wound left after they die.
Right.
Or something like that. But that's on the data sheet. That's not a strat. Something like that,
Right.
I think that would actually decrease complexity because you've got all your rules right on one thing on the data sheet.
And that brings me to Age of Sigmar, because everything that's wrong with 40K is something that's addressed in Age of Sigmar fairly well. So well,
that's what they've been doing for a while, is basically taking gaming ideas that they're having in the studio and testing them out in Sigmar and then bringing them over to 40K.
Yeah, that's always been true. Even back in Warhammer Fantasy, there was stuff that bounced back and forth. Some of it worked well. Some of it was challenges. But in Age of Sigmar, you have
challenges.
God, I know. But in Age of Sigmar, you've got a small pool of command points that you need to spend on your turn. There's a half dozen command abilities in the rules that serve a similar purpose to stratagems, but they're very reactive. So your opponent can roll them out against you whenever, but you have that same information too. And then you've got data sheets war scrolls rather. They'll have command ability, and it'll be essentially like having a stratagem on that character's little card, and it costs a command point to use their ability that does something. And with secondaries, you pick a secondary essentially each turn to score, and you tell your opponent what it is, and it's something pretty straightforward, and you both are sharing again the same table, so you have the same information. And again, it's much neater and cleaner than 40K, although it doesn't have quite as much flavor in some respects in regards to these stratagems and command points and secondaries and so on. It doesn't have quite as much flavor as 40Ks, but it makes it a much more playable system that requires much less mental load while still being very tactically rewarding and very enjoyable to play.
Yeah, I think there needs to be I like some complexity in this game, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I like that each faction has its own distinct flavor.
Yeah, we gush about Crusade every other episode because there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a happy medium, though, when it comes to how much stuff. So we're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet. We need to wind it back a little bit, I think.
Yeah. All right. I also think that balance-wise, Games Workshop really hasn't figured out the game too well. Competitive 40K and even casual 40K can be crazy unbalanced at times. I don't know how to fucking fix that. I don't know what to do about it, but I do know the balanced data slate didn't really do anything.
there's nice things in there for certain things, but yeah, it is more than you can fix the Band-Aid. I think part of it is just the fact that 40K is such a big fucking game. There's a lot in it. And people would be like, would it be better for the game if there were, let's say, 4 armies? Yeah, it'd be easier to balance 4 armies and keep up with them. Would a lot of people
30 or however many we have?
But a lot of people would be real pissed if you took away their army, and I think justifiably so. Because so it's hard. I don't have the silver bullet. I don't think anyone does or anyone can, honestly.
I feel like we're ending on a bad note here for the state of the game. I'm still having a ton of fun playing 9th edition.
That's the thing.
40K.
I'm still stoked to play 40K 9th edition. Like, it is still a very enjoyable time. It is one that I might require a little more of my brain function to play than I want to sometimes. I know it has certainly turned away some friends of mine and friends of the show, like Peter and Dylan, who are kind of like put off by just how complex and how layered and how... and occasionally, sometimes unbalanced the game can be compared to like Necromunda or Age of Sigmar, which are just much smaller scale or much simpler respectively. But it's still a very fun game to play. Like, I'm not gritting my teeth playing it like I was with 7th. In 7th, I was playing it because I'm like, well, I got all these models. This is the only game I can readily find opponents for. Guess I'm just going to roll with it. While with 8th, it was like, oh, cool. This makes sense. This is simple. This is easy. This is cool. It's a little bland compared to some other stuff, but it still works really nicely. And 9th is just so much more complicated, but it is still a really good game. Like, all the complexity in there is very considered. It's very intelligently written. It's just a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm still excited to play 9th edition, and I'm excited to see what happens in 2022. But let's take a look back real quick, Campbell. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it is the 5-year anniversary of the Badcast. 2 friends started a little podcast. I guess I was in a studio, but you were at your house outside of Boston, Massachusetts. 16 rather. Yeah, 16. I keep wanting to say 17 because our first show actually came out in 2017, but we recorded that show in 2016 on December 27th. It is now December 29th, 5 years later. And wow, what a ride so far, huh?
Yeah. And here's the thing. The 5th anniversary is known as the wood anniversary. So, Dan, we're going to give each other wood, and also the listeners, you're also going to get wood. Thank you. Yeah. The wild thing about this is, like, we do one of these every year, just being like, yo, let's check in. Where we been? What's going on? And if I look back at a lot of them, they're fairly similar. And I feel like that's not a bad thing. I feel like that's actually kind of a comfort to me, because we have so much has changed in the world, in the last 5 years, not all for the better, but so much has also changed in the game. So much has changed in your life, in my life. Like, since the show started, I have moved 4 times. And one of those moves was nearly 3,000 miles. We've both gotten married, not to each other. You're about to have a child.
I've moved 3 times.
Yeah, that's not nothing either.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd edition of 40K since we started recording, and the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar since we started recording.
Wow.
Like, Necromunda didn't exist in this form when we started recording. Like, that was the thing that dropped later. Like, and we didn't, god damn, like, Goonhammer didn't exist.
No, I can't even imagine, like, hobbying without Goonhammer now. It's wild.
Yeah. Like, where else do I store my recipes and painting tutorials that I can go back and refer to? We used to post in Something Awful. That's terrible.
Oh my God. Can you imagine actually posting?
I can't. And I have the heart of a true poster. But the thing is, like, over the last 5 years, you have gone from just another Yahoo on Something Awful who I occasionally trade stuff and compliment paint jobs of, to one of my closest friends. And that is... Like, I was a groomsman at your wedding, for Christ's sake. Like, I
was there. I remember.
You remember parts of it.
Well, yeah. I did trip and fall and hit my head on the door to the hotel at one point.
Who are you, me?
I got fucking wasted at my wedding, dude. It was rad. We went to an Irish bar after the ceremony, and we were there till 2 a.m.
Hell yeah.
Fucking pounding Guinness. Danielle's still in her wedding dress. It's like the fucking hem of it is just like soiled completely. It was amazing.
Oh god, and I remember there was also the thing where it was raining over the water, but the rain stopped like 20 feet from where you guys were.
Oh my god, we got so lucky it didn't fucking downpour.
And your
because on the Maryland side, it was like thunderstorming. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, I still have a sticker from the Brewfest that was going on that week on my little paint box cover that I put over my paint stuff so Newbie doesn't fuck with my shit.
Yeah, because we got married at the waterfront, and there was a beer festival going on about 50 yards away that we all went to after the ceremony.
Yeah,
beers.
That Port City Brewing was at. Yeah, so there's impromptu fucking groomsmen photos of just us just hanging out.
Yeah,
and it was your dad was there dressed ready to go birding 15 minutes after he showed up.
Dude, this man, he was in socks and sandals
and little binoculars.
My dad is the dad.
Mm-hmm.
All other dads were created from him. All right. He's fantastic. He showed up to my wedding in socks and sandals. It was great.
Owns.
Anyways, a long time ago, we started this podcast. We've been doing it, and it really has changed my hobby big time. It has opened up a big door into the community, the Warhammer community, where before the Badcast, I'd paint my stuff. I'd listen to the independent characters. Mm-hmm. I would sometimes post on Something Awful, and I would, play people I knew from events or from, or local or whatever. But it wasn't like I had the hobby with me all the time.
Right.
But now, I'm not always hobbying. I'm not always playing. I'm not always painting. I'm not always doing hobby stuff. But man, it's always right there.
Yeah.
And it's because now I'm connected to a ton of like-minded hobbyists. We're talking all the time. I still have push notifications to my phone enabled from Discord.
Oh, don't.
So it's only for direct messages.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a part of my life more so 5 years down the road, and I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, I had my previous job for maybe 8 years before I lost that this summer. I guess it was 7 years, but it was kind of flowed from one job into the other. But I was pretty fucking sick of it by the time I was done.
Yeah.
Largely because the people I worked with, one in particular who I won't name, but it's pretty impressive that I'm still doing this for 107 episodes now, plus bonus ones, plus episode reports or event reports, plus times we fucked up and had to re-record an episode.
That's only happened twice.
That's only happened twice, which is honestly pretty good hit rate for 107 episodes.
I think so too.
5 years. After all that, I'm not tired of this.
No, it's still one of the things I look forward to most.
Yeah, this is still the highlight of my week. Any week we record.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's it's touching base,
Yeah.
Where again, I'm not always thinking about hobby. I'm not always participating in hobby stuff. But when I get to talk to you, when I get to talk about this stupid shit that we love, it's bringing my brain back to stuff that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's serotonin.
Yeah. You're kind of it's cool because now I get triple the dose of serotonin. So let's say I paint those 5 intercessors. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm happy because I finished painting them. Then I post them wherever, Discord, Twitter, what have you. I get comments back. Cool. More happiness.
Oh, I live for that shit.
Oh, that's why I have social media. And that's the only reason I still have Facebook, honestly. And then I get to kind of relive that a third time by chatting with you about it.
Yeah.
It's why we've probably gone from just being like, oh, I painted the thing anyway, to kind of talking more about it over time, because it's fun to talk through this stuff. It's fun to explain this stuff.
You and I both we don't just paint stuff.
Right.
We both get into our paint jobs and try to either elevate them or to, in my case, I love being ultra precise when it comes to paint jobs, especially with Space Marines. It's why it takes me so long to fucking paint them, is because I am very obsessive about how they're painted. When I'm painting anything, if I have to match a scheme, I'd say probably for each model, I'm going back and forth to my display case like 10 times just to make sure. I'm like, all right, so how did I paint that last time?
Yeah.
Did I highlight here? Did I highlight there? So just like I could fucking match it because I'm fucking anal about this stuff. But like that's the thing. We don't just paint.
Right.
Every hobby project we do is a labor of love.
Yeah.
And it's like that with the show, honestly, where like I think I said in episode 100, like I knew on episode 1 that we were going to do 100 episodes. Because like I was like, I could do this. I could do this for a long time. Because it's easy. It's easy to talk to you.
Yep.
And it's easy to talk about the hobby. And it makes me feel good to be part of this. And now that we have a community built up around it, like I don't want to let anybody down.
Right.
You know, by like not doing this show. Because I know a lot of people, it means a lot to them that they get to hear this every 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever. And I don't want to not be a part of the community.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the fact that the community has changed so much in those past 5 years to become so much more diverse, so much more positive, so much more open-minded, so much just better. Makes this a much easier pill to swallow. Like, I feel like if I was doing a Warhammer podcast in like 2010, first off, if I was still doing it now, that'd be wild. But second off, like the world has changed so much since then, and it's so much better for at least in the hobby side of things since then that I don't know how you'd stick with it. It feels like it'd be unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing the independent characters were going as long as they were too, even with their sundry breaks here and there. And they were able to kind of be like that beacon of like positivity and that beacon of like just kind of just telling people to kind of shut up. Like we've gotten a few messages where it's been people being like, I was getting all mad reading comments, then I heard your guys' take on it, and I was like, you know what? Actually, they're probably right. This isn't worth getting mad about. And you had the independent characters doing that back in the day, and that's basically it for the entire community as far as I was aware.
Well, I remember the ICs was the only 40K podcast I listened to for, I mean, I don't really count listening to this podcast because I end up listening to each episode 3 times because I'm editing it and recording it and everything. But IC Podcast was really the only one I listened to. One, because it was the only one that had quality audio for the most part, for a long time. And two, because it was a take on the hobby of that didn't come from like winning games or not even making jokes or like any like specific piece of content that they're doing. It was more of a show that just sprung out of the love of the hobby, and that's something that I've always tried to aspire to with our show.
Well, the thing is, love like that is infectious. Like enthusiasm is infectious, and I adore that enthusiasm. Like that is at some points in my life are just kind of the thing that gets me through the day, let alone through the week or the year in some cases. Like
there's been many times, Campbell, where I have said that enthusiasts ruin everything. And I'm going to stand by that because eventually enthusiasts will ruin everything. But you're right. Enthusiasm is infectious, and much like coronavirus, much like Omicron. And people want to be excited about stuff, especially about stuff they love. And, you know, that's something that I hope we transfer through the Badcast.
I think we do based on the tone of the people that we talk to regularly in our Discord, which is also something that feels like I do harp on it a lot, and it feels I don't want it to ever sound like it's a shill just to like give us money to be on there or whatever. But the fact that there's like this core of people who do listen to our show and just vibe with us and gel with us, and we can just chat to and have our own kind of like personal little bubble of the community is fucking cool. Like that's really neat that there's just people who give enough of a shit they want to hang out with us and pay for the privilege.
Yeah, well, not all of them are cool though.
Not naming names.
It's Campbell. He's the uncool one.
God damn it!
Everybody wait in the parking lot after school, and we can beat him up.
Oh no!
Oh no, you guys!
But I wore my LA lights today. My mom's gonna kill me if I step in a puddle.
Campbell, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What have we accomplished in 5 years?
So aside from building a community, aside from recording over 100 of these fuckers, aside from going from just friendly acquaintances to extremely close friends, man, we've donated a lot of money to help a lot of people, which has been pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so this September we ran a little campaign to raise money for the Texas Equal Access Fund that is, providing access to reproductive rights for women across Texas. And I have a number for you, Campbell.
Yeah.
So what we did is we each donated $50 of our own money, not Badcast money, to the Texas Equal Access Fund, and we said if anybody out there will meet our donation and send us a screenshot proving that they did, I will send them while supplies last a clutch of Badcast objectives. That they can play their games of Warhammer 40,000 with. Because I had objectives made for the Goonhammer Open. They were awesome, incredible, beautiful, and Rob would not let us put the word "come" on them because he's a coward.
The coward, Rob.
But we did it anyways. We didn't put the word "come" on them, but we did make the objectives anyways.
Right.
Compromise. I recently have sent all of the domestic packs out of objectives out to everybody in the United States. I ran into a hiccup at the UPS store. They demanded phone numbers for the handful of international people. And I was like, can I just use my phone number? And they were like, no. So international recipients, just give me a fake phone number from your country. It doesn't have to be yours. Anyways. So I sent out all the domestic ones. There was like 35 or something.
Okay.
And we raised a lot of money for the Texas Equal Access Fund.
Hell
Are you
yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
$2,994.41.
Fuck yeah.
Was raised. Now, it wasn't like people paid us and then we gave the money. It was just you guys donate and then we will show it and we'll do the thing. But for this little challenge, almost $3,000 was raised for the T Fund. And I am absolutely floored by the amount of participation and the amount of money that's going to a very good cause.
Yeah, that fucking rules. Man, I didn't know the number was that high, and I'm happy to hear it. Somebody needs to donate $4 and bring that up to $3,000. In fact, I think I'll do that right now.
$5.59, actually.
I'll donate $6.90. Please, I'm still me. That's the latest one of these we've done, and I would say actually the greatest one of these we've done because we have more reach than we used to. We have more engaged listeners than we used to, and the world's a little scarier than it used to be in a lot of ways. But a few years ago, the first time we did one of these was for the Yellowhammer Fund, which was also to protect women's reproductive rights. And I've mentioned this before, but I fucking love it. We basically announced on our Facebook page, and I think on Twitter, that we were donating a month's Patreon earnings to the Yellowhammer Fund. And that was, I don't know, I think at the time it was like $700 or something, closing on that.
Right.
And one dude just got big mad about it.
Big mad.
Like capital B, capital M, bowel movement, big mad about it. And, and he just like wasn't a patron. God knows if he was even really a listener, but he was still getting really mad about it and getting all shitty about like, how dare you take your listeners' money and use it for political gains or whatever. And people just started donating to the Yellowhammer campaign out of spite, in his name, in $6.90 increments. And kindness out of spite is the very particular brand of shit that warms my heart.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what you do is you be kind to people, even in the face of somebody being hateful.
Yeah, that is the best way to go. That is the best way to quite literally kill them with kindness.
Absolutely. So Campbell, what are we doing next with this podcast?
Oh man. I like doing that charity work type stuff. And I don't have a big plan in mind at the moment. But I'd like to do more of that just because finding ways to give back to the community or giving back to people who need it rather, however small that may be, just seems like a very good thing to do with our platform, because we do have a platform. It isn't the biggest in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a platform. And if we can do that without sending you to the post office a million times, that might be a little better too.
Well, it's only once, and Yeah, it wasn't so bad. The young lady behind the counter was very helpful. Yeah, I think that we're going to start with more of the same for answer the question, what are we going to do next? We're going to keep the show going. We're going to keep it ad-free. We're going to try to make funny jokes and use the soundboard as much as we can, which reminds me.
Let me in. I'm trying to fuck.
Thank you.
We haven't had some Mark Rebier in a while on the show.
Too long, I'd say.
Yeah. So, more of the same. We're going to keep it going, man, because this is a huge part of our lives now, and it's one of the best parts of my life, to be honest. It's community, it's fun, it's enthusiasm, and it's love, Campbell. It's love for the hobby. It's love for, our friends. It's love for the community we've built. And quite frankly, Campbell, it's love from me to you.
Oh, bud. Oh. I mean, that's goes around comes around, my man. Like, I would not willingly be spending my own time with someone every single week if I didn't care for them. And I'm thrilled to bits that gets to be with you. And like, over the last 2 years, especially with like COVID and shit, where there's just been, in addition to the normal chaos of living in this particular era of human history, there was even more. Having this as sort of like a signpost and a like port in the storm or whatever, like just this dependable place to yuck it up with you and talk about this dumb hobby we both love is hugely comforting. Yeah. And I want to be able to kind of pass that on more and more to our community as much as we can. So like, I want to find more ways to involve the community in fun ways. 'Cause like, when I think about We Make the Call, that is one of my favorite segments we do. And that is all thanks to you listeners who send the questions in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love stuff like the fan fiction challenges. I love stuff like the patron Q&A episodes. I want to keep recording this show until one or both of us dies, at which point the listeners' dreams will finally be fulfilled. Numi will be the co-host because she will survive me.
Yes.
But I also want to integrate some of the feedback we've been getting, because we just put out a survey to our patrons, which is the Big Bad Badcast survey 2K21. And while I don't want to compromise what we do or make a show by committee, I want to take a temperature check and just see, what is out there that's working, what's not working, and how can we make this immensely dumb thing that I'm immensely proud of even better and even more fun to do every week.
Yeah, man. I just want to keep doing it. I just want to have more fun, and I just want to keep playing some Warhammer and hanging out with you.
Hell yeah. And I want to keep making more stickers so everyone can do more cool crimes.
Yeah, and so listeners, you're a big part of it always. Always feel free to share your thoughts with us. Feedback, be it positive or negative, anything you want. Contact at 40kbadcast.com is the best place for it. And you don't have to be a Patreon member to talk to us. Okay. You really don't. We read every email that comes into that box, and we will respond to all of them not all of them, because not every email needs a response, but we will respond to the ones that we think definitely do. So if you want to talk to us, if you want to get at us, that is the way to do it. It is 100% free. All it takes is having an email, and you can send us one, contact at 40kbadcast.com. And if you ever have questions for the show that you want to hear on We Make the Call, that is the place to do it. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got one from Discord today, but the only reason we did that is because I screenshotted it, sent it to Campbell, and then searched it with the WMDK tag in Discord. That is a rare thing that I do, and it's because Discord is a lot quicker. But if you send it via email, there's a very good chance that we'll get to it at least some day. Mm-hmm. All right, Campbell, you mentioned it earlier. It's Factor fan fiction time. What do you got for me?
Another group of aliens was nearby, a variant cast of the first Malachite species. Pink-limbed, they capered forward, grotesque expressions of glee on faces that bulged from distended chests. Bangles, piercings, and jewels decorated their repugnant frames. "They value wealth," transmitted Farsight over the quadranet. He heard Commander Bravestorm laugh with a cold contempt in response. "Wealth we can give them!" Farsight blink-slid his outgoing auto-trans to the common version of Imperial Gothic and called to mind the entreaties of the Watercast. We can trade you piles of gemstones. His battlesuit boomed. We can lavish you with oceans of gold. Join us for the greater good, and we will. One of the pink Malachites stretched out his fingers, shuddered as if in fever, and sent out a cloud of flame billowing out towards him. He boosted high, his thruster rays lifting him out of danger. The creature sent out another sheet of fire. Farsight winced as it consumed a nearby squad of Tau Pathfinders. They used digital weapons then, built into the rings upon their fingers. Miniaturized technology, and common enough amongst those who traded with the Jokero. But the biosigns of the stricken Pathfinders were registering as anomalous in the extreme. Farsight zoomed in. The Tau's flesh had been transformed. It was registering as glass, vitrified like stone under intense heat. Features twisted in confusion and anger. Farsight swept his fusion blaster low to cut the nearest Malachite in an explosion of hissing pink viscera. Two smaller creatures burst from its corpse, blue-skinned instead of pink. Each was still decorated with gaudy jewelry. These strange infants too hurled fire. Odd energies crackled from Farsight's shield generator. He glanced at the shield's custom subprogram in confusion and mounting panic, but it was still registering gold at 87% integrity. The High Commander leaped forward, twisting midair, and came down hard in a double stamp. Each foot crushed one of the two blue-skinned pyromaniacs into puffs of sulfur-scented flame. One of the fires caught on his crisis suit's ankle. He twisted the XV8 sensor head to catch a glimpse. The fire was climbing, literally climbing, with limbs of flickering light up his battlesuit. He swatted the cackling fire thing with the barrel of his plasma rifle, then stamped it out for good measure. These creatures defied analysis.
Ooh, Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Campbell, I think this might be fact.
You would be correct. This is from Farsight, Crisis of Faith by Phil Kelly. I thought it would be just silly enough with them offering to give gems and gold to what are obviously Tzeentch horrors and calling blue horrors infants. But yes, this is indeed a real-ass published novel by one Philip Kelly.
You know what? Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we've had fact on Fact or Fan Fiction.
It's been a long time, and some people have strong opinions about that.
We will peel back the curtain a little bit. We did send out a feedback survey to our Patreon subscribers to give us, feedback for the show. And one of the feedback pieces was, there's not enough fact in Fact or Fan Fiction.
I'll also address this right now. Going through novels that I have or haven't read, looking for something for silly shit, bad prose, typos, what have you, that takes a lot of time. I don't read hyper fast, and reading a novel is something that my attention can't really latch onto that much. So it can take me, unless it's something that's really a banger like Penitent or Pariah, it's usually gonna take me 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
and 2 to 3 weeks to find a bit and just at it and take a picture of it and save it for later. That's great. But we record more often than that. Yeah. And it's much faster to just go, fanfiction.net. Let's see, fanfiction.net, Naruto, Warhammer, crossover. And what do we got? We find, Through Fire and Flame by Biscoff. Yeah, where Naruto is the second Legion Primarch. Because, what do you know, it took me seconds to find this.
That guy probably listens to Dragon Force.
He does.
And that's just sad.
A blood marine stuck in Naruto. What will happen? Okay, see, that's the shit I usually work with because it's very easy and very funny.
Right.
But yeah, I do want to try to going forward, try to change up a little bit. I know some people have said that maybe Fact or Fan Fiction could use a little zhuzhing up here and there. So keep an ear out. More good stuff and more bad stuff is going to be coming to Fact or Fan Fiction.
All right. Well, it's time for plugs, and I'm really enjoying the new bit on the show.
Christ.
Where you read the plugs and I don't.
Yeah, no, I like that bit. I don't like the bit where you have me go faster and faster because it makes them functionally useless. So
no, I'm just going to ask you to do them because I'm losing the battle with my nostrils right now.
Yep.
And I just don't really want to talk that much anymore.
All right, then I will get going. We've mentioned it probably a dozen times already, but we have a Patreon if you want to support the show at patreon.com/40kbadcast, where you can get bonus episodes, behind the scenes content, just all sorts of good shit. We also sell merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/40kbadcast, where you can buy t-shirts, aprons, stickers, and I think that's pretty much it, but we'll throw some more stuff in there at some point in the near future. You can reach the Badcast on Facebook, which is a hell site for boomers you shouldn't go to, but if you already have an account, you may as well at facebook.com/40kbadcast. And if you are a social media enjoyer, asterisk of taste, you can go on Twitter, where we both are. Dan is at DB_sleazy. I am at BrotherSRM, where we post models, takes, jokes, what the fuck ever. You can get at us there. I don't care. They're perfectly fine. We also both write for Goonhammer, which is the only good Warhammer website not run by Games Workshop. So goonhammer.com, there it is. Lastly, I also just started a Instagram account for my own artwork. If you want to follow that to see what sort of like webcomic shit I'm getting up to, and that is at Camtoons Animation, all one word, like cartoons with an M, on Instagram. So look for me there. I'm posting stuff. I've got the first chapter of a new webcomic up there. I'm very excited about it. Not Warhammer related. I just have a platform, so there it is. Oh, and last but certainly not least, you can email us at contact@40kbadcast.com. Send us questions, send us pet pictures, send us questions about pet pictures and how you can get better ones. Just hit us up, friendo. We're there. We check it pretty regularly, and we do reply to as many of them as we can. Am I missing anything, Dan?
I don't think so.
All right, then I am ready to send us off with an inspirational quote to take us not only into the next episode, but into the next year, and ideally into the next 100 episodes of the show.
Okay, do it.
Doubt is the fatal flaw in any armor.
Yeah, man. It's great. It's good stuff, dude. I think one of these days you're gonna have to sprinkle in some Taco Bell sauce packet stuff, like we do on Torco Borco.
Yeah.
And also, I just want last plug.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Torco Borco opening fucking music intro that I have made is the greatest thing on the planet. Mm-hmm. And you should become a part of our Patreon at the Fuckboy tier to listen to that once a month.
I would say
it is.
Yeah.
I listen to it and it makes me so happy.
It is the best thing you've done in your personal or professional life.
Oh, I mean, easily.
I'm including getting
Easily.
married. I'm including conceiving a child. I'm including 5 years of this fucking podcast. It was all worth it just for.
Should we do a quick maybe a little.
Sir, drop the chalupa. Put it down and back away. Sir, don't be silly. Drop the chalupa. I said, drop the chalupa.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, so normally you wouldn't be able to access the Torco Borco Reporco, but that's just a little taste for any of those that are curious out there.
Yeah, that's off the Torco Borco pre-fee menu.
Yeah. All right, gang. Thanks for listening, as always. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for engaging and being with us through this pretty tough year. But we're still going strong, and we hope you are too. And, we'll see you in the next cartoon. Happy New Year, fuckos!
Happy New Year! Here's to our 5 years of this stupid show.